$847,000. Interest earned was $586.16. Balance as of June 30th was $1,780.80. Total funds for July were $433,088.37. Checks paid in July were $400,470.99. Balance in the general checking at the end of July was $32,617.38.
Okay, we have a motion, any questions? Motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Town of East Troy Treasurer's Report for the month of July 2025 as presented.
Second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, treasurer's report accepted. Any other questions on the clerk treasurer's report summary?
No, but I would like to make a comment.
Okay, go right ahead.
I would like to commend the clerk, Ms. Buchanan, for being one of 12 polling places to earn a perfect accessibility score in the last election. We were one of only 12 in the state. The Wisconsin Elections Commission reviewed 477 random polling places, and so I think that that's a significant accomplishment. Nice job to you and your poll workers.
Thank you, but it's definitely team effort, because the DPW plays a big role in how we set up and accessibility and everything.
No, I agree, go right ahead.
I had a question, a couple of questions, just on the, report, the verify and certify the outstanding levy balance from Quantico, is that an annual activity?
Yes,
That's
sure.
right.
Their auditors, Gateway, East Troy,
The other thing that I thought of, when is the Jones disposal renewal coming up? I think we should look at doing an RFP. I've had some service issues of late, they've been hard to get a hold of, we've had them forever, there's other service providers, wondering when the timing is on that contract.
we have a couple more years.
I thought we just extended them last year.
I think we did, yeah.
That's John's.
If you have, like, I never have a problem reaching them. I email their front office, I get immediate responses.
They don't have, yeah, when you call.
You call us, we take care of it for you, which is what all the other residents who have issues do.
Well, the website
We
directs,
handle it, don't we, Judy?
the website directs me to go to them direct. So that's what I did, and it rings and rings and rings, and then it says, I didn't catch it, you can send us an email, and of course I was on my
Yeah.
speaker and didn't.
And I must say, usually we email and get immediate feedback.
I've called and I've had problems, so.
Should the website be updated?
I wonder if they have some changes in their staff, because just as a side note, we had them pick up in the morning run on the recycle week, they picked up our recycle instead of our garbage. So then when they came around to pick up the garbage, or when they came around to pick up the recycle, my garbage was all that was left, and they wouldn't pick it up, because it was a recycle truck. And then the next time, they did the same
Have them
thing.
in the right spots and all that.
Always. Always, they're separate, yes. The next week, they did the same thing, but they realized it while they were there, and they backed up, and then they had, so they took both the recycle and the garbage in the garbage.
You need to let me know that, might be.
Well, I told them. Pick it up today or tomorrow, and the garbage. are there. And then backing up, yeah.
Okay, the only other thing, Joe, the social media policy, do you need an electronic version?
Yes.
Can you do that so that?
It was printed, I think she was printed.
Yeah, I know, but he works off the electronics, and I think that's one of the reasons why things get delayed. Thank you. Anything else with her report?
I was just, the budget, if we're at the 50% mark, or things that are low, but I guess we can review that in the budget.
Well,
There
and
may
you
be
have to
opportunities.
remember, some things are paid at the beginning of the year, so you're at 100%. Some things,
Exactly,
some months, like, retirement is always a month behind. Health insurance is always a month ahead, so you're always gonna see variances there.
As water patrol is pretty low, I guess that's only May and June. But there's not really July, August, last,
Yeah.
but it's definitely less than a third. Thank you for providing.
Okay, I think we are at the public comments point. Please be advised, it's First State Statute 19.84, sub 2, information may be received from the public. Comments are limited to 4-minute periods per person. Be further advised that there will be no discussion on the information received and no action will be taken regarding public comments. Upon conclusion of the citizen participation segment, members of the audience are not allowed to further comment unless they are participating in a public hearing, which we, and is specifically allowed by a majority vote of the town board due to involvement in a specific agenda item. And as we've been, communicating all summer, we're holding off for Wakefield comments until the public hearing. We can get one scheduled where everybody can have a voice and everybody can hear it. I wanna ensure everybody, has a voice in that public hearing. Again, you are always welcome to provide emails or whatever communication to any board member or all of us. You're welcome to do that at any time. So with that, Richard wants to be number one. No, always wants to be number one.
Rich Faust, N9349 Woodfield Court. Chairman Jones, last month at the meeting, you stated that you took 2 trips on Lake Beulah. One of them was a 3-hour trip looking at the shoreline.
Yep.
Second one, you said you were in a boat with some people, and a fisherman approached you in a manner with deliberate hostility. Were you talking about me? You don't have to answer that.
Go on.
I just want to set the record straight, that deliberate hostility was at 1.5 miles per hour with an electric trolling motor. I did not cut him off, or them off, and if you would have reached out to me afterwards, I would have explained to you what I was doing. I was fishing, my wife was in the boat. I had no idea you were in that boat. And in the center of the lake, across from our house, between the camp and our house, is a 8 to 9 foot hump that comes up. And day in and day out during the summer, we see an activity that starts on the east side of that, goes across it, blows it up. If people stay to the south, they don't hit it, not a problem. I wanted to fish that. And like I said, I didn't know you were in that boat. I wanted to fish it, and I thought if I don't get out there and they go across it, it's gonna blow up. So if you would have talked to me or called me, I would have explained that. And a good leader always gets both sides of the story before accusing somebody of something. I hope this isn't a pattern you have. I hope you reach out more. As a chairman, you should reach out. You then observe the, activity that goes on out there, and you stated that that activity created a 2-foot wave that dissipated in about 50 feet. I want to know if you honestly can still agree with your statement after riding in a boat with me that created a 3 to 4 foot wave that no other boat on the lake can make any other type of boat, and it certainly didn't dissipate in 50 feet. I'm sure you'll get to that later. I'm going to bring up a Wisconsin state statute, and this goes in play with the new PLB incident reporting form, which I appreciate the police chief getting with PLB and having something that we can at least just document on what's going on. We understand the patrol is difficult, and I think it's just the way police departments are today. It's tough to find cops. I mean, everybody's looked at cops are looked at a bad way. Nobody wants to take a joke at. But Wisconsin state statute 30.68 hazardous weight specifically prohibits operating a motorboat in a way that creates a hazardous wake or wash when approaching or passing another boat. So this falls into that incident report, and it is a responsibility of the boater, whether it's a bass boat taking off, and if I tip your wife out of the boat and she breaks her arm, or if it's a certain other boat doing an activity and it washes my boat or my wife falls. And the chief said, and you gotta document, you gotta get registration numbers, and you have to take it. I mean, I'm gonna film everybody. I'm gonna film everybody that goes by, and if anybody has a problem with that, read the First Amendment. That's our right to do. I'm not gonna report everybody, but if a boat goes by and that my wife breaks her arm because she fell, and I don't have that recorded, I got nothing for the chief. And the last thing I wanna say about the fishing pier, and I know you're gonna address this tonight, but really, kudos to you two, but shame on you three. Come on, you couldn't let somebody go talk to organizations about that. I know you're not against the pier, but if you guys can't handle the big issue at hand, and I know that you threw it at the management district, throw the big issue at the management district, let them make the decision, and you guys can then go on with your other stuff if you can't handle the big issue. Let the management district make the decision, and you just follow what the management district says on the big issue.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? Go right ahead.
Hello, I'm Beth Lanham, W1544 South Shore Drive. I'm also on the board of Protect Lake Beulah. We have all heard concerns expressed regarding unsafe boating behaviors and a lack of police presence on the lake this summer. Protect Lake Beulah board members continue to get fairly regular calls following weekends or regarding unsafe or after-hour infractions. We are all aware and very appreciative of the work between the town board, police, Gorecki, and the management district to attempt to identify long-term solutions. I repeat, we're very appreciative of that. It has sounded as if those long-term solutions might not take place until next year. Thank you for all your efforts, though. It is very much appreciated. In the interim, we became aware that several lake associations in Wisconsin had implemented an incident reporting system process, which they reported had been helpful. This would provide an avenue for people to notify someone of observed safety concerns. I met briefly with Chief Gorecki several weeks ago to float the idea of building a similar system for Lake Beulah. I showed him our proposed line items, explained that the incidents would go directly to the police department upon submission. The police department would then make decisions regarding any needed follow-up. And I verified the email address that he wanted such incidents to be routed to. After receiving his okay, we moved forward to build the incident report process. Last week, the process was ready to be launched. I emailed Chief Gorecki prior to sending out the blast email, alerting him to the fact that the process was ready to go live. I then sent the email announcing the new process to the Protect Lake Beulah contacts and members. I received some immediate positive responses indicating that, quote, we now have some process for reporting our concerns, and, quote, we have been concerned about safety and didn't have anywhere to report it. Much to my surprise, there were some negative comments as well made through social media. I guess I shouldn't have been surprised in our current political environment. This statement is to publicly assure all that this was intended as a cooperative effort to provide an interim method for reporting concerns, while a longer-term solution is being identified and implemented. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Right, well, lines along with Beth's comments anyway. So, since we've been talking, Mary Court, W1522 South Shore. So we've been thinking about this, the water patrol and how the East Troy Town Board supports the water patrol, but the LBMD doesn't support the water patrol financially. And we've been reaching out to try to see what other places do for boating safety. So we came up with two ideas, Barry and I, that this year, Governor Evers has enacted the boating safety week. It already happened, May 17th through May 23rd. And so they had all different communities were involved in this boating safety. So then I dug a little further, and there's a group called National Safe Boating Council. And one part of it, which I think is interesting for our lake, because I feel like there's a lot of bad boaters. And two, there's a lot of younger boaters now, like in the late 20s, 30s group, that I think they're learning from people that are bad boaters, and now they're becoming bad boaters. So anyway, this group has this, just one little part of this National Safety Boating Council has a group called Skippers Club for 13 through 19, and they have a water safety group. So anyway, put that all together. I talked to East Troy Rescue, and I know I was gonna call Barb, but I didn't, and I was hoping maybe Barb could help me, cause you're the liaison, right? To the,
Not anymore, but I could help.
okay, well, I've talked to them, and they haven't said no, but they haven't said yes. For 2026, maybe we could do something that week that the Wisconsin does, boating safety week, and we could have something over at the station.
And also contacted the Coast Guard.
Yes, we did that.
I did too,
Yeah.
independent of you, I did not know that you were doing that.
Mhm.
They sort of put me off for this year, but said maybe next year.
And, yeah, well, that's what I got to, and just a side note, I've done a lot of fact checking. The 5 lakes really close by, Lake Geneva, Lauderdale Lakes, Powers Lake, Beulah.
Relevant.
Yeah, Delavan, okay. Delavan I took out kind of, well, I mean, they all get money from their water, Lake Beulah Management District, their version of it. We don't get any money from Lake Beulah Management District, 0. I mean, they talked about it for 2026, but it's not on the record yet. I put Delavan out because they have a sewer system and it's a huge budget, but Lake Geneva gets like supporters, they get money from their management district and the town. Powers is mostly from their lake management district, and Lauderdale is both the town and, the water district. Just food for thought.
Go ahead, Tom.
Tom Van Volkart, W2035 Beulah Heights Road. I'm the president of Protect Lake Beulah. I just wanted to announce several important dates that are coming up. On September 23rd, there's going to be an educational forum that's going to be held at the East Troy Community Center, and there's going to be 4 key topics. The first is going to be sharing the results that came out of the Terravigilus study that has been done on Lake Beulah. Secondly, there's going to be a discussion with divers that have participated in multiple studies that have been done here on Lake Beulah, who are our friends from over at Booth Lake. Thirdly, there's been a new form of testing that has been done that we're going to introduce and show the data from that. And then lastly, there was a Minnesota study that was released, and we will have somebody coming and doing a presentation on that and talking about the implications to Lake Beulah.
You said September 23rd, I believe it's August 23rd.
It is, it's August 23rd. Thank you for that correction. Also, we have, our newsletter is coming out, and we would like like to, we noticed that there's only one member of this board that's actually on our mailing list. And we would like to make sure that you all receive a copy of our newsletter. So I don't know if Kim, if you can give permission for her to give us the addresses so that we can make sure that you all get a copy, or I can pass us a sign-up thing around and you can put your name and address on and we'll make sure that you get a copy of that.
You could also always send it to the town hall, and put it in their mailbox.
Okay, perfect. Our fall membership meeting is coming up on September 13th, and that is September, and it's going to be at the Yacht Club, and it's our typical election cycle, and I will be going off the board as the president. Steve Hunig will be taking over that role, and Brian Fons will be stepping in as the vice president. And we also would like to invite Joe to have 10 minutes on that agenda to talk about anything that's going on for the town. Last time I put you on and you didn't show, we just scratched it. If you can let me know if you're in or out by the end of the month, I will put you either on or off the agenda based on hearing from you.
I didn't know I was on the agenda last time, so.
Okay, we also are working with Wisconsin Lakes Association, and we are planning to do a spring environmental lake forum that's going to be hosted here in East Troy in conjunction with our organizations that are here, not just Protect Lake Beulah, but all of the organizations. And this will be a meeting where everybody who is involved in any of the southeast lakes that are now part of the Wisconsin Lakes Association would be included, and any of the towns that have lakes that reside within those areas. They usually get about 300 to 400 people that participate in this, and they're looking at hosting that here based off of all of the work that we've been doing on Lake Beulah, and it becoming kind of a hub of information for what's happening here in southeastern Wisconsin. So we're excited to do that.
When is that?
The date isn't decided. It's going to be in the spring. And then, as I go off, you've heard me talk about this before, as I go off of the board, I will be focusing on putting this coalition together of the different camps that are around Lake Beulah. We have 2.5 miles of natural lake frontage. There was something, Joe, that you said that kind of struck me to the core in your reading last week about the wake surfing, where you talked about just doing riprap and having that be a resolution. It's the fact that we have natural shorelines that make up 2.5 miles is
4 minutes. 4 minutes.
Okay.
Sorry. Anybody else?
Chad Wales, W2070 Beulah Heights. I just wanted to say that I had a lot of great feedback. We had a meeting about culvert from the channel side. I want to thank Chairman Jones, Todd, Lynch, and everybody else involved to get all that stuff out. We had a lot of, I put my cell phone number out and started getting a lot of texts afterwards, and a lot of people appreciated putting it all together and getting that information. There was a lot of, well, this is what I've heard, this is what I've heard, so it was very helpful for everybody back there to kind of get on the same page. So I just want to say thank you.
Thanks for your comments.
Still some plans over there, if anyone needs them, Chad. There's still some of the drawings left, if anyone needs them.
Yeah, there was some smaller ones out on the table. There wasn't anybody around.
I don't think you have to.
At the time, we went on both.
Okay, I recognize Supervisor Church for public comments.
At this time, I would just like to recognize Robert Zielinski, who passed away, on July 28th. Mr. Zielinski was a, town of East Troy resident, but he was really dedicated to serving the town. He was a dairy farmer in this area. He served on the town of East Troy Planning Commission for more than 45 years. He also was a poll worker for the town of East Troy for many, many, many elections. And of note, he also was a charter member and starter of the Burlington Fire Department. So, if you have any, recollections of Bob, feel free to come to St. Peter's on Saturday. His services visitation and funeral will be Saturday.
Very good. John?
John Stokes, North 8831 Stearns Ridge Road. I'd like to make a few comments about Protect Lake Beulah. I've recorded a lot of their educational seminars. They've asked me to do it, and I had no problem doing it. I used to record their spring and fall annual meetings, going back several years. And as of a year or two ago, their group decided that they don't want to be transparent and allow me to record there. So I asked the president of Protect Lake Beulah, are you guys recording this? And is there gonna be a way to get it on your website so that I can get a copy of it and put it on my YouTube channel so I can keep the historical control stuff available for people moving in the future? And the president of Protect Lake Beulah, back and forth for 5 weeks, and he said, yeah, we'll get it. The guy, our guy that is recording the youth, that has a Zoom, he's in Ireland or somewhere overseas, and I asked 5 or 6 times over the course of almost 6 weeks, and I never received it. So I think it's very important, if you're gonna be a group around the lake that protects the lake, that you should be transparent so that all people in the community know what you're doing. You're representing the lake. The lake is the community. These people that live here have a right to know what's going on there. And when you don't provide access, you don't provide transparency, it's very difficult for the people to understand what's going on over there. Now, I'm all about protecting the lake. I'm all about what they do for the lake. I don't have any issues or gripes there. I just find the fact that they aren't transparent there. Now, when I was at the spring meeting held at the Yacht Club this year, the Protect Lake Beulah board was verbally going after our current town chairman multiple times and saying things that I thought were inappropriate. Now, there was no recording of it to be able to document it, but I was there, I sat there, I listened to it, and I thought it was inappropriate. There was one person from the board here there that day, and it was Barb, and nothing was said about it, but I think the behavior that they had that day at that meeting was inappropriate, because all groups around the lake need to work with the town board and is also with the county, and we don't have that. We have little pockets of people doing little semantical games, and I just think if you're gonna be a group around the lake, be transparent or get the hell out of the business.
Thank you. Anybody else?